Hello, welcome back. It's 7 p.m. I have watched the early evening news in Danish television, the Danish broadcast, Danmarks Radio. That's the Danish radio. I don't know how Danish broadcast, I don't know how you say that in English. Yes, I think the temperature is going to drop to 29. But it's still it's very hot, and I did start to upload these two videos. So let's get a little bit more to drink. You have to drink like 4 liters, but don't do that. I'm not drinking 4 liters of lemonade. That's why I'm always thirsty. But I'm drinking a little bit every time like now, but that's, I have to drink like 20 of this, but I don't do that. I cannot drink that much. But I do it many times every day. I drink a little bit, but not like 30 of this one. Or 20. I not drink more than 20 of this. You actually have to do this a day like this. 10. Oh, that's 10 glasses, but 0.3 liters maybe. So you have to drink more than 10, not 20. Like 15 glasses, but I don't do that. Maybe drink 7 or 8 or something. So this is why I'm always thirsty. Yes. Let's adjust a little bit. But let's just continue. I have paused the game, not the game. I have paused the reading, and I made a new read list. I'll do later this one. There's a lot of links I will do, but I will not read it now. But I like to download and write it down. But I have to wait to do it later because I got like 40 PDF open. I'm not going to open 40 more. Yes, resume.
The centennial of the Golden Spike at Carcross was reenacted on the 29th of July, 2000, complete with 2 steam engines meeting nose to nose, number 73 and number 40, and a gold-coated steel spike being driven by a descendant of WP&YR contractor Michael James Heaney. One organization chartered a steam-pulled train from Carcross to Fraser, with a stopover at Bennett, on Friday, the 24th of June, 2005. When expected participants seemed unlikely to arrive in the planned numbers, surplus seats were sold to the public, $120 or 156 Canadian dollars, with bus return to Carcross from Fraser. This represents the first paid passenger trips out of Carcross since 1982, a feature that started regular service in 2007. White Pass President Gary Danielson advised a CBC radio interviewer that service to Whitehorse will require an enormous capital investment to restore the tracks, but the company is willing if there is either a passenger or freight potential to make it cost-effective. A June 2006 report on connecting Alaska to the Continental Railroad network suggested CarMaxes are up, with a branch line to Whitehorse and beyond to either Skagway or Haines, Alaska. In addition to the restoration of the actual rail line, several former White Pass steam locomotives are currently in operation at tourist attractions in the southeastern United States. Locomotives 70, 71, and 192 are at the Dollywood Amusement Park in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Locomotive 190 is at the Tweepsey Railroad in Boone, North Carolina. In late June 2010, the railroad and the city of Skagway entered into an agreement whereby the two would jointly advocate for the restoration of freight service on the line, including the revival of the trackage north of Carcross back to Whitehorse and the possibility of constructing new track north from Whitehorse to Carmacks. The expansion would require federal funds, and, if completed, would serve the region's mining industry. 41. In July 2018, the railway was purchased by Klondike Holdings, 42, and Carnival Corporation and plc, in a joint venture. 43. 44. Accidents. In 1951, engine number 70 caught a guardrail with its snowplow and rolled over on its side. The locomotive is still in operation at Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, working on the Dollywood Express. In 1994, during rock removal operations, a backhoe operator accidentally struck a petroleum pipeline near railroad tracks. The operator's mistake caused the pipeline to rupture and spill between 1,000 and 5,000 US gallons, 830 and 4,160 gal, 3,800 and 18,900 L, of heating oil into the Skagway River. Roadmaster Edward Hanasick Jr. and President M. Paul Taylor Jr. were charged with several crimes associated with accident. Both men maintained their innocence throughout many years of extensive litigation. After remand by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, the president settled on a plea agreement on misdemeanor charges of making negligent misrepresentations to the Coast Guard. 45. The roadmaster was convicted on negligence-related charges. A serious derailment on the 3rd of September 2006 resulted in the death of one section worker. 46. 47. A work train, engine 114 pulling 8 gravel cars, derailed approximately 3 miles, 4.8 kilometers, south of Bennett, injuring all 4 train crew, 2 Canadian and 2 American. One died at the scene and the others had to be airlifted to a hospital. Passenger operations on the blocked section had ended for the season just before the accident. In February 2007, engine 114 was taken for repair to the Coast Engine and Equipment Company, SECO, in Tacoma, Washington. On the 23rd of July 2014, a derailment occurred involving 2 vintage diesel locomotives and 4 passenger rail cars. The accident was due to a broken throw rod at a switch. Both locomotives derailed, and the rails broke. There were 9 minor injuries initially reported, and those passengers were treated and released in Skagway. Later reports state that 19 passengers and 4 railroad employees were injured. Due to derailment, the line was temporarily suspended. 48, 49. But service resumed. Rosters of White Pass locomotives and cars, boats, and winter stages. For the roster of White Pass locomotives and railroad cars, see List of White Pass and Yukon route locomotives and cars. For the roster of White Pass boats, see List of steamboats on the Yukon River. For the roster of White Pass winter stages, see Overland Trail, Yukon. War Department Baldwin 2-8-2 locomotives. There are 2 persistent myths that show up in almost every book or article which mentions the role of the White Pass and Yukon route in the building of the Alaska Highway during the Second World War. The myths concern the 11 new USAT S-118 class locomotives that the United States Army Transportation Corps brought to the WP and YR in 1943. Myth number 1 is that they were converted from 1000 mm, 3 feet 338 in, meter gauge to 3 feet, 914 mm, gauge by the WP and YR shops in Skagway, Alaska. Myth no. Two is that they were built for Iran and diverted to the WP and YR.50. These locomotives, designated USA 190 to USA 200, were constructed by Baldwin Locomotive Works as 3-foot, 914 mm, gauge and shipped fully assembled. No modification was needed. The MacArthur was designed by the American Locomotive Company for 3 feet 6 in, 1067 mm, gauge, and the smaller gauges were accommodated with various width spacers, rings, between the wheels and the truck side frames on same length axles. The spacers were 3 in, 76.2 mm, wide in the case of 3 feet, 914 mm, gauge, and 33.5 mm, 1.32 in, wide in the case of 1000 mm, 3 feet 338 in. In total, nearly 800 MacArthurs were produced by ALCO, Baldwin, and a few other manufacturers. The reason USA 190-200 were never destined for Iran, as is often mistakenly stated in books relating WP and YR history, is that Iran's government railway was, and is, 1,435 mm, 4 feet 812 in. Also, because of scarce water and extensive tunnels, Iran was the first case where the army primarily used diesel locomotives. USAT narrow-gauge locomotives were never destined for Iran. The first locomotives of the MacArthur design that Baldwin Locomotive Works built were USA 190-200 for the WP and YR, which makes them unique. This initial 1942 sales order to Baldwin for 60 MacArthur 1,000 mm, 3 feet 338 in, gauge locomotives was for India's extensive meter gauge railway system. The first 11 were diverted to the WP and YR as 3 feet, 914 mm, gauge. The next 15 went to India as meter gauge, another 20 went to Queensland Rail as 3 feet 6 in, 1067 mm, gauge, and the remaining 14 were meter gauge for India, where the order was destined before the Alaskan and Australian diversions. 51, 52, 53, Gallery. White Pass and Yukon Train. 2004. White Pass and Yukon Train. 2004. Old Wooden Trestle, White Pass and Yukon Route. Old Wooden Trestle, White Pass and Yukon Route. Parlor Car Scene at Fraser, BC. Parlor Car Scene at Fraser, BC. Steam locomotive number Euro 73. Steam locomotive No. 73. Steam locomotive No. 69 filling water at Glacier Station 2011. Steam locomotive No. 69 filling water at Glacier Station 2011. White Pass and Yukon Route shops in Skagway, Alaska. White Pass and Yukon Route shops in Skagway, Alaska. Railway at Skagway Station. Railway at Skagway Station. Railway arriving in Skagway. Railway arriving in Skagway. Railway crossing the Bernard Lake, BC. Railway crossing the Bernard Lake, BC. Former station in Whitehorse. Former station in Whitehorse. Train returning to Skagway from the Yukon. Train returning to Skagway from the Yukon. See also. List of heritage railways in Canada. List of heritage railroads in the United States. List of narrow gauge railways in British Columbia. Narrow gauge railways in Canada. List of historic civil engineering landmarks. References. One named after the appearance of rapids.
Not read that. That's 15 minutes. That was interesting, this one. I think I maybe write it down to my read again lists. That was last edit 6 June, like 20 days ago. Yes, but let's close it. No, we need to open it in my
Right
search,
path and Yukon route.
but I have so many open. But let's do next one, the Skagway. Oh, I have like 40. I have 40 open duplicates, but let's open and save it for later. There's a lot of links there. Just open there, but I'm not finished. Got 40 more, but I already made a paper there. That's reading list 27. Wild Pass and Yukon routes. Read list 27. But I'm not finished. Do this. Save this for later because I have to download all. I have to finish writing all this. There. No, that's not the part of there. But I have 30 read lists. No, I was going to do this, but I think no, I was not finished to write all this down there. But I have it very hot. So I think I just like to continue the Skagway. Let's continue this. Let's get something to drink. The Skagway is 9 pages. Then we have the moon. But I think we should know. Think about what we're doing. That's 31 pages. Of course, we could start to do the moon. Just finish this moon. Yes, I will charge the camcorder a little bit and upload this.